Title: Crimson Vale Manor. The wind howled through the twisted trees that surrounded Crimson Vale Manor, an ominous structure hidden deep within the heart of the Blackwood Forest. The moon, obscured by an eerie mist, cast an ethereal glow over the decaying facade of the mansion. This was a place whispered about in hushed tones, a place where the veil between the living and the dead was rumored to be thinnest. A group of curious souls, drawn together by a macabre fascination, had decided to venture into the manor. Led by the intrepid Sarah, they believed themselves impervious to the legends that plagued the estate. But what awaited them within was beyond their darkest nightmares. The interior was a labyrinth of crumbling walls, rickety floors, and shadowed hallways. As they moved deeper into the mansion, the air grew colder and an unsettling feeling settled upon them. The floorboards creaked beneath their weight, echoing like whispers of past tragedies. Paintings of long-forgotten inhabitants stared down at them with hollow eyes, their expressions twisted in eternal torment. In a grand, dilapidated ballroom, they stumbled upon an ornate mirror, its glass tarnished with age. It reflected their group, but there was something amiss. Their reflections were distorted, grotesque caricatures of themselves. Sarah's once vibrant smile appeared contorted into a nightmarish grin, and her companions' faces were twisted in agony. A distant sound, a haunting melody that seemed to seep from the very walls, drew them deeper into the manor. Following the ghostly tune, they entered a chamber adorned with ancient instruments, seemingly untouched by time. At the center of the room stood a grand piano, its keys untouched for decades. Sarah's fingers, almost of their own volition, began to play a melancholic melody, the notes filling the air like mournful cries. As the last note echoed, the room came alive with a sinister energy. The walls seemed to bleed, oozing a dark liquid that pooled at their feet. The instruments rattled and clanged, each producing discordant sounds that resonated through the very souls of the intruders. They were trapped in a symphony of madness, their senses overwhelmed by the cacophony of horrors. Suddenly, the room fell silent, and the liquid began to recede. Their surroundings shifted, and they found themselves in a nightmarish landscape, a twisted carnival where grotesque figures danced and jeered. Sarah's companions were transformed into grotesque, deformed versions of themselves, their bodies contorted and twisted in pain. Desperation and fear consumed them, and they fled through the nightmarish carnival, pursued by monstrosities born of their own subconscious fears. Sarah's once valiant spirit waned as she realized the malevolent force within the manor was feeding off their terror, twisting it into a ghastly reality. But Sarah had a revelation: the key to escaping this nightmare lay within herself. She turned to face her grotesque companions and, with a surge of inner strength, rejected the fear that had bound them. As her resolve solidified, the carnival melted away, leaving only the grand piano and the haunting mirror in its wake. The reflection in the mirror shifted back to normal, and the group found themselves standing in the ballroom once more. The mansion seemed to sigh in resignation, its malevolent energy dissipating like a mist in the morning sun. As they left Crimson Vale Manor, the forest seemed less foreboding, and the moonlight less sinister. But Sarah knew the horrors they had faced were not confined to the walls of the manor. The darkness that lurked within each of them was a reminder that the line between reality and nightmare was thinner than they could ever have imagined. And as they ventured back into the world, haunted by the chilling echoes of their experience, they knew that the true horrors lay not in the unknown, but in the depths of their own minds.